All right, the little red light is on. That means, ladies and gentlemen, we have another edition of the ESRCade. Welcome to the arcade. I am Emmanuel. With me is Sean and Randy. Gentlemen, how's it going?
What ups?
You from
Okay, so apparently Cornholio is joining us for this edition. All we gotta do is wait for him to put his shirt over his head, and we'll be set.
No, he's not that.
No.
What he is he's Fry from the 300 episode of Futurama. When he drinks
Oh, yeah.
100 coffees, the 100, $3 coffees, and then he crashes at the end.
That's really the only thing that's holding me together at this point right now. To really tell you the truth. Lots of Pepsis, and I don't drink Monster or anything. I'm trying to drink water so I can calm that noise down.
Yeah, because Pepsi's such a great alternative to.
So,
Yeah.
Arcadians, all right. Oh God, Ghost of Tsushima is so good. It's so good.
Is that what you did?
I've all-nightered it twice, and man, I can't put it down, and I'm putting it down for the sake of the show. It's not like it's a huge sacrifice or anything. It's just like, man, I really gotta stop playing this. And
You
it's
lie.
like,
It's a major sacrifice.
I'm like, oh man, okay. I know the topics and everything, and I did the research, but Ghost of Tsushima, man, like, oh God, damn that's so
You know
good.
what though? It's in this day and age, if you can find a game that you can play into the wee sunlight of the morning, you found yourself a solid game.
Oh yeah, it's very solid. Man, dude, I can't even describe it.
Yeah, because you're not running on proper sleep.
I haven't beaten it. Yet. So.
Oh no, shame on you, Sean.
For
How long have you
all
been
the
playing
hours
for?
that you put in there, you would think you would have beaten it by now.
2 days. Well, this would be the third day, but I'm gonna say five that, and I'm going to go to sleep, and then yeah. So after the show, that's what's gonna happen, and then I'll
Sleep.
wake up at about 5
No,
p.m.
Sean, you are weak. You've only been playing it for 2 days. Get out of here with that noise.
Hang
I
your
own
head in
Riders.
shame.
Get out. No.
I all-nighted it twice,
Mm.
so.
Because there's somebody that's listening there as like, I've done it for 5 days, wuss.
I beat the game 3 times. Now I'm playing it in the Kurosawa mode. What
Now I'm playing it blindfolded.
No, I can't even see how you can play that Kurosawa mode. It's
What do you mean
a cool
you can't
thing.
see? There's people who've done it. There's videos online that show you
That's
can.
nice. That's not gonna be me because with the all black and white with the film filter and everything, and it looks cool, but nah, not this. Not
Would
this.
you guys think I was weird if I said that's a young man's game now? Like,
But
just
they're
to be
doing
able-
the
just
filter.
right? Not just the filter, but just going to that level. I remember playing through Resident Evil and trying to get the A grades on every time and not having a problem with it, and then getting into it on the HD remakes like 10 years later, and it's just like I can't do it anymore. I'm good at video games. What's going on?
Yeah, I know. You've
different
already
games.
had your thing, man.
It's already different. It's also a different. Those are different games now.
No.
Yeah.
Like when they just do like I'm sorry, I said HD remake, remaster. Like when it's just like, oh, the graphics are updated and all that.
Yeah, no, it's a different game. It's a different game. Like to go through that, it's like a different
Yeah.
experience. Going to do
You
that.
didn't have defensive items in the
Yeah.
first go
There's
through,
not-
man.
There's no. I mean, it's
Yeah.
okay. Me, I kind of depending on what's there and what it is to get everything to get all those extra features. Like, no, I'll still go through it. I'll do that. I'm like, yeah, if I can, I'll give it a try. If it's one of those things.
Oh, yeah, well,
where-
it's not going to stop me, but the fact that I just wasn't able to accomplish it is what bothered me.
yeah,
Like,
do
I
this.
did this once before. I know I did.
Oh God. So like, man. Okay, I gotta adjust the camera there a second. Okay, so I got stuck. I'm at a part in the game where, I don't want to spoil anything, but let's just say the Renegade Ronin are sending their best 6 hitman after me, and their best swordsman, and they've been dueling me in the ring, and like sword to sword, and it's fun. It's just fun. and like, man, this boss fight's tough, but it's fun. I'm
Well,
like, oh, it's so good.
at least we can say for sure that Sean has put a seal of approval on this game. So, ladies and
And I
gentlemen,
haven't
go
beaten
check
it
it
yet.
out.
Yeah, I haven't beaten
Oh,
it yet.
it's a solid title.
So dope.
Yeah. All right.
And I'll do that, and then finally get to play Avengers, and then
Yeah, going through Avengers in my second playthrough for Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah,
Because all the new
beaten that-
DLC.
Yeah,
and-
I beaten that twice with the DLC and everything. I gotta
I mean,
stop. I have to like, no, I put the game down for something else. So,
All
yeah.
right.
I don't know, man. I keep going back to games. Actually, and I also just picked up Hades. It launched from the Super Giant.
Oh
Released,
yeah.
Dungeon Crawler, and I picked it
know.
up on Switch. It was before the sale ended, and I mean, a sale was like $5 off. But it's like one of those things where even for at $25, this game's amazing.
Hey, it's a
And the
sale.
audio.
It's a sale, which means there's some savings to it. $5 is something, you know.
Just wanted to play it. It was one of those things where I wanted to choose. I was like, do I just buy it on all the platforms I want to play it on? And I went, no, let's put it on the Switch, because then that's the thing I can just pick up and
Yeah, that's
play
true.
whenever.
Oh, yeah.
Especially
All right, guys.
Hades.
So we've got another edition of Nailed It or Failed It. And this time we are going to examine James Spader for his portrayal of Ultron in Avengers Age of Ultron. So James Spader is an Emmy Award winner whose career began in 1978 and has continuously worked in television and movies. It was his role as Alan Shore that nabbed him his Emmy, once for his portrayal of the character on The Practice, and again on Boston Legal. Most recently, Spader has portrayed Robert California in the U.S. adaptation of The Office, and is currently portraying Raymond Red Reddington on The Blacklist. And his portrayal was of Ultron. First appearing in a non-named cameo in Avengers 54, Ultron was built when the scientist supreme Hank Pym experimented with high-intelligent robotics. Throughout his existence, Ultron has continuously upgraded itself to the point of being powerful enough to take over the Phalanx, a techno-organic race akin to the Star Trek's Borg, bent on conquering worlds. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Ultron was created by Tony Stark as a crisis-averting program. Gentlemen, I leave it to you. Nailed it or failed it?
Hey, cool. Screen share of the Nail and Failed segment. Nice. Okay.
We've done that. I don't know why you
Have
say
we?
that. Yes.
Yeah, when we were talking about Raiden.
And also with
Oh.
Doc Ock. It's like a totally thing.
I don't remember that.
That shows that Sean's still not awake. 'Cause,
Yeah.
we did that.
Oh.
I do it every time.
His brain is
Okay.
running on 30%.
Except for Beast. Or not Beast, for Sabretooth.
Uh,
But yes. Go ahead, Sean. You got something?
sure.
Go for it, man.
Yeah, you nailed it. Sure. Okay. I mean, honestly, it's not like there's other Ultrons out there, you know. You just not like any other real portrayals I can really think of.
I feel like you're always trying to compare it to something else, but remember, the whole idea is this is what they were given.
Did he do good?
When you
Yeah.
saw it, it was like, was that Ultron to you? Was he corny? Was he the right type of evil? Where it's just like he wasn't just like, I'm gonna destroy everything. Like, no, there was an elegance to him. Like that's what we're trying to go for. Like, if we compare and contrast in a lot of things, it's just gonna be like, yeah, he did it better than him. We're done. Next one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, same with this. I mean, he did good. Next one. I have nothing else to really say. I don't remember any real other portrayals of Ultron that stand out in my mind. He's the only one. He's top of the mountain, king of the list.
Sean, go to sleep.
No, I'm cool.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I'm like,
He's
no.
fine.
Well, technically, there actually is another portrayal, Sean, from the
All right.
Avengers
Cartoon?
Assemble franchise. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that.
So there actually is another one of Ultron, and it's
Cool.
that's actually pretty awesome.
All right.
That one. It's closer to how the comic book is.
All right.
No thanks.
And now we got commercials.
See?
Which Marvel character are you? I don't know.
Look what
Nah,
you
it's okay.
did.
I'm not gonna click that.
Stop it.
I didn't do anything. This is what it does on the site. This is what happens when you share from the web. Internet gets you.
Well,
No, not gonna let me do it. Oh,
Now,
gotta get that.
now you have to
you
take
gotta-
the quiz.
you have to- no, I'm like, which one am I? Nope, not gonna do that. I don't know what they're data mining from me. Actually, I don't care. It's like, yeah. Well, I think the way they did it for James Spader that they kind of humanized him. They gave him, which I don't necessarily agree with the story, but his portrayal was good. But it's those things where they had to write in that his personality was part Tony Stark, so he is kind of a jerk, and he is trying to outdo what Stark had designed him to do. As far as the design of the character, I kind of miss the not human face that Ultron has. Ultron is like, it's like a glass face with on a helmet, or not helmet, on a head that lights up when he talks, and I like that because it's a lot more frightening to see than two eyes and a mouth. But I think James Spader did okay. I think he could have been more crazy. Not, I wouldn't say more crazy, but singular minded, because they made him. They kind of gave him a human aspect, and the idea that he cared about people, like he actually cares about the Wanda and Pietro when they were part of his squad, which I'm like, I don't think Ultron should have cared about any of that.
I don't know. I actually do like the human aspect that they gave him, because it made it all the more scarier, in the sense of, like, here you have artificial intelligence that is already, like, powerful enough to comprehend those types of things. Like, when you watch, like, sci-fi shows about technology and how it could, when it gets smart enough, it's going to take over everything. That's what we got almost immediately with Ultron, was just that because of Tony Stark and his technology and his wonder and his brain, it just, instead of it something like slowly happening as time went on, we got it immediately, right there and then, which is a scary thought, because we're so not ready for it. If that were to ever happen, like, we had no protection against it. Like, Stark was trying to do it, like I mentioned before, as a crisis averting program to try to prevent anything from happening, and instead it just goes 180. It's now creating the crises, and because of that, I also feel like that arrogance and cockiness that Ultron had, again, because a part of his personality traits came from Tony Stark, which, let's be perfectly honest, he is arrogant. He's able to turn that into a very frightening direction for the character. The fact that he does care also shows, like, how much he hates something. It's not just a program, just like, oh, this is how it's going to be perfect, because without humans there will be no wars. Then like, no, there's actual thought behind it. So I mean, for different reasons, I still say nailed it. I think he did a really good job with that. And the fact that Spader put on the suit, like, he did the whole motion capture,
on the stilts in the head,
all of that. He, kudos to him. He's not a young spry man. He's I think he was in his 50s when that was going on. And despite whatever you're able to do to try to make it as easy as possible for him, that's still a little strenuous. Strenuous to us, much more strenuous for a 50-year-old.
Oh yeah, totally. Especially, I mean, he didn't. I look at him like he didn't have to be there, but he did it. I was like, yeah, he's just the voice. You don't got to do any of that.
Yeah,
come on,
no,
man.
that's why I picked him, because like the rules are, if you did motion capture for the character, you still count.
He showed up,
and he
got
did.
On there. I'm sure that he probably, because he's old friends with Robert Downey Jr., and he's like, no, man, it'll be really easy. It's easy for me all the time. I'm like, dude, you're wearing like shoulder pads.
Yeah.
And dots on the parts of your arm for.
He's trying to pat it out, like, oh, it'll be fine. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I promise. Yeah, we're gonna have a great time. And in his head, he's just like, can this be over now?
No. He's probably like, no, it's all good, man. It's all good.
So I think we got a resounding nailed it for Mr. Spader on this one.
Sure.
Right.
Okay. Thanks for the contribution there, Sean.
Yeah.
No problem.
Way to be the buzzkill.
Sure.
I think we have to limit his video game time, Randy. Like, I think
he does what he does.
I think it's starting to affect his health.
I'm like, Hey, he's got to learn how
You
to solve
affect
things.
my health.
I've been up since 1 o'clock, and I woke up at 5:30 today. So, yeah.
I was up at 6. Not necessarily a Randy, but like, that's still pretty good.
So I can play more Hades. So that's what I did. I woke up, I'm like, Sit in my bed and
That's
play
how
this
it works
game.
for parenting. Like if you want to get any gaming in, you have to wake up before the kids, so that you can get like a solid maybe hour or two before you got to start getting them ready for the
Nope,
regular.
I just show them, hey, this is what I'm playing, and this is what you're not.
Wow.
Yay! I'm like, yep, this is what I get to play.
You're
You don't touch
mean.
it. I'm like, do your chores, and maybe you'll get to play some of Daddy's games.
That's okay. Yeah. I mean, the last time I slept was Thursday, so I mean, it's what it is. I'll be okay, but the rest I'm good. The David Spader thing, I mean,
Oh
can't
god.
really argue. He did good. I wish I could say more. It was good.
When you're running on fumes, it's kind of hard to put sentences together, isn't it?
No, it's not that. I mean, I could.
No, it is that
Talk
exactly,
fine.
Sean. It's literally that. It's actually that, buddy.
I could talk fine. It's just.
No, you're not.
Spader.
Actually, you're not. You can do the playback, and we'll tell you.
I'm fine. Really, it's okay. It's okay.
I feel like you're like 2 seconds away of being drunk right now without alcohol.
Nah, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Big news in the video game world. You know, it still blows my mind with the actual number on it, but Microsoft has announced that it is purchasing ZeniMax for $7.5 billion.
They're not. Oh God, no.
See?
No.
Sentence difficult. Sentence
No.
difficult.
They're not thinking about it. They've already done it.
No, they haven't. They only announced it. Everything is still going through the process right now. They
So
haven't
what,
dropped the money
ink
yet.
isn't dry yet on
The
that
ink.
contract.
It is
Or-
not. No. They
Oh.
things like this take like about like maybe 3, 4, maybe like half a year before everything can
What?
actually go through. Yeah, it's not as simple as just coming in and like here's the money, you're ours now. Like no, there's a whole process to it. But yes, $7.5 billion. Microsoft
Are you
is.
for sure?
I'm for sure,
real?
dude. It doesn't take. It's not something that can go out there. And one of the things that is being mentioned is that the reason they mentioned it, amongst the fact of trying to push sales for the new Xbox, is they didn't want it to leak. They wanted to stay on top of everything, so they were the ones that were just like, "Hey, this is happening," instead of it leaking on Kotaku or anything else.
So here's where it is, and Sean, Manuel is correct that they did announce that they are starting the purchase of ZeniMax Media, which does include Bethesda the Bethesda software. But in the bottom here, you'll see that the transaction is subject to customary closing conditions and the completion of regulatory review. The expectation is going to be around 2021, 2022
Okay.
before
So, yeah.
everything's done. Because it takes a lot to make a deal like this. I mean, you can't just hand someone, almost $10 billion and be like,
Suitcase full of money.
here you go. Well,
Give me the
yeah,
contract.
suitcase. It's like here. But yeah, it because there has to be some scrutiny on there.
No,
'cause you don't know what's going on.
this is how crazy it is. Microsoft commissioned the United States to actually make the $1 billion bill. So they put 7 of those and then 500 million in a suitcase. That's how they were able to do it because they just had that kind of power. They're like, oh yeah, the U.S. Navy is still working on Windows XP. You say you want us to keep that going? Well,
Oh,
you're gonna have to do some things for us. But yeah, so it's not anything that's going on, but it has been announced. And funny enough, it was announced the day before the Series X and Series S went on for pre-orders. So massive power play on that one. They did come out
Good
and
luck
say
getting those.
they did say they did say Microsoft did say that any contracts and agreements that they had as far as exclusivity to other consoles, specifically naming Sony, will still remain intact, which means none of that will change. If there's an exclusive contract for essentially Deathloop is a good example, then that's going to stay exclusive. Moving forward, they did say that they will decide whether a game will either be exclusive to Microsoft or if it will go out to the other consoles on a game-by-game basis.
Did read, yes.
But damn, $7.5 billion, first off. Like, man.
Oh, okay, I was like, sorry, when you said Deathloop is exclusive, I'm like, no, it's not. And then I'm like, oh, it's timed exclusive.
Mm.
It's a timed exclusive.
Oh, is
I'm like,
it?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know.
I was like,
it
is
was
it
a time
exclusive? I'm like, no, it's a timed. I'm like, I hate it when they say that. Because that makes it sound like, oh, it's forever. I'm like, no, dude, it's going to be like maybe 3 months, if that.
Now,
Okay.
there is a part of me that's very hesitant to believe Microsoft when they say they'll do it on a case-by-case basis. But there are two things that do come to mind with that. The first thing is that despite them having bought Mahjong, which were the developers of Minecraft, they have still shown support.
Mojang guy.
Yeah, they've still shown support for all the other
And
consoles.
I'm half asleep.
I'm just disregarding you. Sorry. They're still showing support for all the other Minecrafts for the other consoles. So Microsoft is willing to play nice. And another thing that comes to mind is, you can have like the new Elder Scrolls on one console, but if you really want to maximize profit on that thing, you'll put it out on any other console that is powerful enough to run it, instead of just keeping it on there. Because you can have the exclusive where a lot more people will buy an Xbox, but you can also get that revenue for people buying it for the PlayStation 5 if they do a Switch version. If definitely coming out on PC, of course. Which, if you really think about it, the PC has won the console wars because it basically gets everything that goes on Xbox or PlayStation at some point. Damn you, PC. But I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this. First off, do you guys think that Microsoft will be willing to share, essentially?
That completely depends on them. I mean, that's line in the contract. They get the choice to say, hey, this is exclusive to us. And then some of these don't have to be exclusive to us.
But do you think
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it would be really weird to see like Outer Worlds. Well, no, it's already out. No. I guess let's say Elden Ring, because I guess that's going to be coming out. Then by this point, the transition of all that money and Microsoft officially owning Bethesda will be done by that point when Elden Ring comes out. But it'd be weird to see Elden Ring come out on a PS5, but then have to have the Microsoft logo pop up when you start up the game. That'd be kind of weird. Weird.
They kind of do that now, like Ori's.
They do a little bit, yeah.
Well, it's on the Switch. Like Ori's coming to the Switch, and they have the Xbox. I think they say Xbox partner logo on it.
Do they?
Yeah. If you look at the trailer they have the trailer, you'll see it. Like it's small because it's big enough to where you notice it. You're like, oh hey, this is.
But
Xbox
when you cut on the game, does it show up like on the PlayStation?
I don't know on the PlayStation, but at least with the trailer that was on the Nintendo Switch Partner Direct, they showed that part. I'm like, oh hey, there it is. Okay,
well, Nintendo's really cool with Microsoft.
I mean, it's because the whole thing about being open to doing the crossplay. And then, Sony being the only one who was like, F that, we can't.
They're still holding out. Yeah.
We don't want to do that. I'm like, why don't you do that?
Yeah,
I'm not saying that they have to, but it's like, come on, guys, don't be a jerk. Be cool about it. Be cool.
Yeah.
Randy, what do you think?
I think that with Microsoft banking, not necessarily on their hardware, but their services, that they do not want to leave any money on the table if they don't have to. Because, where they're winning at, in my opinion, is getting the Xbox Game Pass, and that's obviously them trying to push their services. And who's to say that they can't necessarily offer that outside of their console? I'm not saying it's going to be on a PS or on a PS5 or anything like that, but just to get it out for other people to use on different types of devices aside from a gaming console. And if they can help generate revenue by licensing these games out, why not? I mean, it's not like these games they're not part of a legacy that belongs to them originally. It's not like if we said, oh yeah, Nintendo's going to license, Smash Brothers to Sony. You're like, what now? Like, no, they're not going to do that. That's not going to be a thing. But, Microsoft's in a position where both their background and their with themselves as a company, and then with this new acquisition, it could work in their favor. I mean, the idea that they could keep, or that they obviously, I would. Part of me wants to go, hey, they're probably going to keep the best version for themselves. I'm like, well, yeah, why not?
You know?
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you do such a thing?
I mean, if Sony will do that with Spider-Man in the Avengers game, why wouldn't Microsoft do that for themselves?
But yeah, so I looking at it, I'm like, well, there's all these titles that they have, and yeah, they could. It would be hard pressed for them to want to keep it on their own platform.
A lot of people are actually hoping that because of this acquisition, Microsoft will commission Bethesda, or primarily Obsidian, to make Fallout New Vegas 2. Because they own both of them now, or they will be owning both of them.
Yeah, it'd be good to see Fallout come back to the way it was.
Yeah, which is one of the things that Microsoft came out and said is that they are going to leave the developers alone. It's just, hey, you have a bigger bankroll now. Whereas I think when the private equity firm bought ZeniMax, it was just like, well, we put money into this and we need to make a profit on this as much as possible. So do whatever you can to try to generate revenue, which is kind of when we started seeing everything, at least me personally, is when we started seeing everything go downhill for Bethesda. Because everything started becoming very much more penny pinching, try to take as much as possible with little microtransactions here, try to make as much money as humanly possible so that the private equity firm can make that profit. And now that Microsoft is coming in and saying, like, you're under our umbrella now, do what you do, there's nobody really breathing down their neck anymore to say, like, hey, you have to do it this way or you have to do it that way. It's just like, no, we want to expand our library of first-party developers. Sony has Santa Monica, Insomniac Games, and it just so happens that Microsoft just got one of the biggest ones out there that has connections all over the world. Because they've got developers here in the United States, and they have developers outside of the United States. So, damn, man, $7.5 billion.
That's a lot. Granted, it's not like they didn't get a lot. Because I'm looking at the studios that they got. ZeniMax subsidiary is Alpha Dog Games, Arcane Studios, Bethesda Software, id Software, Machine Games, Roundhouse Studios, Tango Gameworks, ZeniMax Online. And those all have a lot of different stuff.
And let's just look at the properties that they've got now. They've got Fallout. They've got Elder Scrolls. They have Doom, because that is part of them as well.
Mm-hmm.
They have some of the major titles under their roof right now, and whether they decide whether they want to share with the competitors or not is something we're going to have to wait and see. I think you're right, Randy. I think they don't want to leave money on the proverbial table, and if they can make a big chunk of money by still making Elder Scrolls V a multi-platform game, then why not? But again, like you were saying, Sean, there's probably going to be things where it's just like, yeah, but if you get it on the Xbox, you'll get this, and this.
Maybe.
Whereas maybe you'll get it on the PlayStation, you might have to buy it later, and you may have to wait about 6 months.
I wouldn't be surprised to see if they did timed exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
I would be like, oh yeah, that makes. I'm like, why not? Makes sense.
That. I was gonna say that, but it's okay. I guess I think one of the silver lining of this story is that now, when Bethesda wants to pull out some bullshit with Fallout and just wants to kind of turd out a video game and call it Fallout, that's not going to cut it anymore under Microsoft, because Microsoft has some standards and they want their games to actually
burn
work when they come out. I mean, day one patch, fine, that happens, but not day one patch that doubles the size of the game, that sort of thing. So, gonna have to clean up a little bit. It's okay.
Admittedly, there's some glitches that I do like, though.
Oh, all right, sure.
Like when the troll sends you flying in Elder Scrolls Skyrim. You just pound that ground and you just see your character fly up in the air.
Yeah, that's fine.
Those are awesome. I sent Lydia to fight one, and I saw that happen. I'm like, well, she ain't coming back. Felt kind of bad afterwards, but whatever.
Yeah, I feel bad.
What do you guys think about the possibility of a Fallout New Vegas 2?
Not happening.
You don't think so?
No, because then it would take the two. Because Obsidian basically, I don't know.
It's not. You got to remember. So, what Obsidian did was they took Fallout 3, which was an amazing game in itself, until New Vegas came out, and they're just like, we're gonna add on to this and made it like 10 times better. So it wouldn't necessarily be the idea that they would need Bethesda, but it would be more so the fact that they need the licensing to actually make the game. And now that they're under the same umbrella, it wouldn't be too much of a problem for Obsidian to be like, okay, let's get started and work off of it from there. They can even go off of the template that they did for the Outer World and go from there, like start building out a New Vegas from that.
True, but
I mean, there's already rumors that. I mean, I just looked up now, and it's like, oh, Game Rant showing. Yeah, there's rumors that the new game that Obsidian's been working on could very well be Fallout New Vegas too.
Okay. I don't see it.
Man.
Just because Fallout is a Bethesda thing and Obsidian's doing their shit, it's just been like, hey, well, you want us to do your game and do it better than you? Look at that.
That
oh
happens.
my God, did we expose your balls?
That-
I'm sorry.
I mean, but that's a thing that happens all the time.
Yeah.
That happens when other game companies take over, other development studios take over for a game. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this.
And again,
Here you go.
Again, it's
But
all.
Bethesda just got $7.5 billion.
No,
Well,
Bethesda
no.
did not.
Okay, fine.
Bethesda
The private
ZeniMax just got.
Not even ZeniMax. It's the private
studio
equity
was
firm
purchased.
that owned them. So
Okay.
it's just ZeniMax getting a different revenue fund. Instead of it being the private equity firm, it's now Microsoft.
It's not. Yeah, it's not like they got all that money. It's like no, they're acquired. They're now their new bosses are a Windows logo. So
And
that's
Okay.
what it is.
maybe.
But
they
yeah, I
won't
mean, it very
care.
well could be. I mean, realistically, you bought it. Their acquisition was to purchase the IP. That's what they really wanted. They wanted the IP in the studio so to build these things that they want to, and that's what they got.
And
As of next year,
and
potentially.
hopefully we don't see them pull an EA move where they just shut down the developer and keep the IP. But I mean, they haven't done that. They have purchased quite a few developers, and they're still around. So
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's also the idea that they don't have anybody who can take over to do that. Like they'd have to go off and hire. Like they're not big on internal teams that could do what they need to get done on these games.
oh man.
But dang,
So
$7.5 billion. That's a big purchase. That's a big get.
yeah.
I mean,
It's getting crazy how we're creeping closer and closer to that $10 billion point that somebody's going to buy something and like it's going to get there. Like I'm still kind of amazed that Marvel was purchased by Disney for $4.3 billion.
that was like a decade ago, though.
It was.
A decade ago money. Like, that's different.
So do you think with inflation that's going to be way more? Do you think that in another 10 years we'll finally hit that $10 billion point?
We'll see who would get sold for that.
Let me
much money, though.
rephrase that. Do you think we'll get the $10 billion point on a video game related purchase?
I mean, what studio is worth that much money? Is there a studio or organization that has enough IP to warrant that price?
Nintendo.
I was
That's
thinking
worth
that.
way more. Nintendo's worth way more than $10 billion.
I think so too, but I mean, if there's gonna be some throwing around money, Nintendo's gonna have to be the one getting bought for $10 million. So
I would.
Billion.
I mean, I'd imagine it
Or
would have to.
Sony.
It would be
I
a
don't know.
scenario in which someone would have to be like I can't imagine a first-party studio getting sold for that much. I mean, I could be wrong, but I can't imagine in this day and age that they would want that. I mean, if
Remember,
there was
we're 10 years in the future for this,
yeah,
though.
but still, it would be like 10 years in the past, someone said the same thing about Nintendo, and they said, "Screw you guys, we got our own plans." And then the Wii and then the 3DS came in and went cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah.
So it's
License
like,
to print money.
It's like, yeah, they got it. So, I mean, I'm saying that they can't, that it couldn't happen, but it's highly doubtful. I'm trying to think of third-party studios that would be worth it.
Did you also hear the rumors that Microsoft may be trying to purchase Sega as well?
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. There has been that. I don't know if they...
That rumor's been around
Yeah.
since the original
Yeah,
Xbox, though.
That's been around for a
Yeah.
while that they've been trying to get bought. Same thing, like, I remember in my good old employee days, everyone's like, oh, well, the Capcom's going to get bought by Microsoft anyway. I'm like, that's not happening.
No.
It's like, I mean, that would be a smart move on Microsoft's part, but I don't think it'll.
Yeah, they need to start expanding into their Japanese market.
That's why they.
Yep.
I mean, they would have to. Actually, I think Square could pull it. I mean, Square could definitely get it sold for that much.
Really? 10 bill?
I mean, because they have enough property from both the Japanese style of games from various types of genres, and then they do have their American counterparts that does include Tomb Raider,
Crystal Dynamics.
yeah, like Crystal D. All in there.
Eidos.
They have the Deus Ex series that like I said, Tomb Raider. They have a bunch of these properties that are surprisingly good. You're like, oh yeah, I didn't expect Sleeping Dogs to be a good title, and I'm like, holy crap, I played the hell out of this game.
I remember when that was supposed to be True Crime Hong Kong.
Oh yeah, and then they got in the studio. It was like, oh, we got no money.
Well, actually, what's funny was that it was Sleeping Dogs first, and then Activision needed another title, so they're like, oh, we'll call this True Crime, and then that fell through.
And they're like,
And then it went back to Sleeping Dogs. It is, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
$7.5 billion. Oof. What do you even do with all that?
Whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Just give me
I
like
don't even
10%
know how you
of
would
that.
just manage that. Like
Just
just
give,
managing.
I don't even need 10. Give me 1% of that.
1%
Dude,
of
holy
that.
crap.
Imagine trying to be like, how many accountants do you hire to do them? Like, you hire as many as you can, just to verify to make sure the money's all going in the right place.
Right. Nothing shady's going on.
I mean, granted, let's say like that something was shady was going on. I figure after like $3 billion, what does it matter? You're like, do I have more than half? Okay, then that's okay. Yeah. Someone got away with like $2 billion is like pushed away somewhere else. You're like, what the hell? Someone stole $2 billion. How many do you have left? $5 billion.
Well, am I really that upset? I still walked away with the bigger sum.
I'm like, yeah, as long as I got more than what the other guy took, it's all good, right?
No.
Thank you, Sean.
Come on.
Oh, so you don't pay your taxes then, right, Sean? You don't pay your taxes on your
I
check?
pay my taxes.
Haha, that's what's
That's-
getting stolen from you.
That's not getting stolen as
Kinda
much as
is,
the
though.
government. Yeah, fine, Randy.
It
Don't
kinda
bullshit
is.
out of this.
It kind of is, though. Kind of
Come
is.
on, don't like. You pay your taxes. And
I don't know what paying
I'm
taxes
not even
is.
gonna. Whatever.
I don't think you wanted to say that on a recorded program,
No,
sir.
I very much pay my taxes.
Nice.
I look at it. That's why I have to calculate how much. I'm like,
They're going to be in court, and they're going to play that one episode, and
I'm
we're
like,
going to be
what?
like, hey, we got to listen.
And I have a letter that says, "Here's what you paid on your IRS." I'm like, yeah, I know, and it makes me angry. Makes me angry when I looked at a bonus and I went, "Oh man."
It's not really a bonus now, is
It's
it?
like it was supposed to be way more than that.
Yeah. It equated to, like, bus fare by the time you guys were done with it.
It's like, Jesus, it's okay. But no, it is a good move on their part, on Microsoft, getting this property, because they're gonna have a lot of titles. And granted, have they all been great as of late? No, but they do have a strong legacy as far as their IP goes.
Yeah, like you were saying, it's more so the IP than anything else.
Yeah, it's for the IP. That
I
would
think
totally
it's
work.
just weird that whenever, I guess, let's say Bethesda's going to put something out on the PlayStation 5, that Microsoft is going to get a little taste of that.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
get that money. They're gonna get that
Yeah.
money.
That's like, oh,
That's
all right.
That's business. That's business. I guess it's kind of like how you'll have studios who produce television shows, and then they go on the air not on their television network. They'll go for someone else.
Yeah, I know, like, a lot of shows get recorded on the CBS lot.
Yeah,
But they're not always on for CBS.
No, they're not on for CBS. Like I think was it Modern Family? I believe it was recorded originally on a Fox lot, and then they moved it to ABC. But it's like, so Fox, they sold it and got some money for it, but it's ABC who ended up getting all these things because that show got huge.
I think the same was for Conan, actually. I think Conan was on the CBS lot when he was with NBC still.
Yeah.
When he moved
Oh
to
yeah,
California.
because then that's how it was for him. But yeah, I guess it could work in that same way for gaming, I guess, because you're licensing it out. As long as I guess it's all going to depend on how the contracts shake out as far as the money goes. Because I don't know what their licensing fee could be for that if there is something that they roll in there. But yeah, every time a game sells, every time a Fallout game or even a new Doom's coming out, 5% of that is going back to Microsoft.
Crazy.
Maybe they do want it. I mean, I guess the deal. I would look at it, try to strategize. Like, okay, which console has sold the most copies of this game. Okay, now when we get the sequel, we're gonna sneak in this extra percentage cost because they're gonna sell more, but that means we're gonna get more money
Right.
back.
And it's going to be fair too. It's
Yeah.
not even like they're trying to be sneaky about it. It's like
They're
it's
not
going to all
doing
be in
that.
the contract. Like we realize that this sold more on the PlayStation, but we need to get paid because you're using stuff that belongs to us now.
Yeah, my shit.
Oh man.
That's
All right.
crazy. I mean, it's interesting though because I'm realizing that Microsoft is like the friendliest competitor
Yeah.
based on what they've done because they shared a game with Nintendo. They're cool with a crossplay with Nintendo.
I mean, we got Banjo-Kazooie on Smash, you know?
They're like, oh, and if this all works out, but granted, we don't know what's going to happen next year. We haven't seen any of these titles get onto the PlayStation system yet. But the fact that they're offering, hey, by the way, we're going to allow this to be on, it's going to be on the PS5. It's cool. I'm like, all right, done.
And then the Game Pass.
Well, I think what it really comes down to is I don't think, mind you, I didn't read this entire article, but I did see the headline for it, is that I don't really think that Microsoft is really competing against Sony or Nintendo anymore. I feel like they're trying to compete more with Google and any other streaming thing that's going on. Like I know Amazon has a new one called Luna.
Yeah, well, they have their Amazon announced their gaming service.
Right.
And
so
I'm like, oh, finally.
I think that's who they're trying to compete against. So they're trying to get a lot of the IPs that would normally go to these other ones, but don't necessarily do so. So what better way to do it than to start buying some of the bigger IPs or the bigger developers and studios.
And getting these studios. You can have more people helping you out.
The best thing about this, though, is that the real winners of all of this are us.
Yeah.
I
suppose so.
I mean, hopefully it works out.
Because let's see. I mean, let's be real. Who's really playing Stadia? Stadia.
Not a damn person.
It's so sad. It is so sad.
Great concept. Incredible concept. Hey, you don't even need to buy anything. You just need to open it up on a Google Chrome and you can do it. Sounds amazing on paper.
Yep.
On execution.
How much data have you burned through? It's like, oh.
Hey, you wouldn't happen to be on a business plan for your internet, would you? Because it's probably going to be what you're going to need in order to play.
Yeah, to get all this data going through. Would be more messed up is like, oh yeah, you go through it, but then it goes your service provider is like, this doesn't comply with the usage of our data stream. We notice you're using copyrighted materials here. I'm like, yeah, they're video games. Sorry,
it doesn't work out that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, and hopefully, I mean, I'm hoping with this deal that it does give other studios a chance to maybe get looked at. I'm not saying that it's always great when someone gets acquired, but it is nice if you can get a company that has more funding to do more stuff.
Okay, so I know this is kind of out of left field, but I feel as though I should ask this. We mentioned it before a little bit about crossplay. Do you think that this is a step in the direction of having universal crossplay? I'm not saying it's like the one thing that's going to change it all, but do you think because they have so many titles that have a multiplayer that will go on other consoles, that it just might help the argument to convince Sony? Because as we said before, they're the major holdout. Would it be enough to start that conversation again?
No. No.
You don't think so at all?
Well, Microsoft and Nintendo are cool, but not like Sony. Sony doesn't want to be cool with anybody. So, I mean, it's kind of what it is.
What about you, Randy?
I think it could be a conversation. I do believe it could be a conversation. It could definitely add some
weight to the...
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, it's already on there. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen anytime soon.
Right.
I'm not saying that it's going to be like right away, but it could definitely lead to a conversation. Because like Sean said, they are cool with Nintendo. And they've done things like that. It's a matter of whether or not they're going to get I guess it would be the reasoning. Like you'd have to have a physical reason, like, oh, they're gonna have a new game, it's gonna have multiplayer, like whatever Fallout game. I'm like, well, you know what make this more fun is if we could, play with everybody.
And last question for you before we move on, because Sean was also saying it kind of forces them to have standards now because they have Microsoft breathing down on them. despite all the negative press that it's gotten, Fallout 76 is still around.
Yeah.
If this goes on, purchase goes through, do you think we'll get a complete revamp of Fallout 76 now that we have Microsoft looking over it? No?
No.
You think they'll still continue to do the same practices?
Oh, no. I mean, I thought you meant as them trying to fix Fallout 76. No, they're not fixing Fallout 76. No. They may try and add like expansions and whatnot, but as to fixing like big problems with the game, nah, they're not doing that. It's going to take too much time, too much money, and then they have it now, but it's like they're not going to associate.
Do you think they'll abandon ship on it?
Allocate any of that money to fix that game. They'll just go on to something else.
So you think they will abandon ship on it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Randy, what do you think?
I don't know. I keep thinking about Outer Worlds and how crappy that experience was, and then the studio did not shut down like they thought they would, and then the game got better.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, well, wonders ever. And I'm like,
Outer
well,
Worlds is pretty good. I don't know what the problem is.
But the experience of it was great, and they were gonna get shut down. Like the studio in charge of that was gonna close.
Obsidian?
No, Virtuous. They're the ones who actually were the ones who had developed it, and they basically like went, oh look, we're open again, and we're gonna do it, and it's gonna be great. But it took some time. I'm like, well, sometimes miracles can happen. I'm not saying that it's 100% gonna occur with New Vegas, but I wouldn't be surprised that it did.
All right.
Like, what if someone said, oh yeah, well, they put in a fresh team on it, they looked over all the stuff they did, fixed all the problems that they had on it, and they said, forget it, let's just launch it. And then they're going to do it. You're like, oh, crap.
All right.
I don't know how long it's going to be, though. It might be a while. It might be we're like, 5 years from now. We're like, oh, by the way, remember that game that we made a long-ass time ago that was not great? Here we go.
Why would they? All right, yeah.
All right, Arcadians. Well, let us know what you think. Follow along with the conversation at ESRCade or hashtag ESRCade, and let us know what you guys think. Some other things going on. We've got a casting for Kang the Conqueror as far as the MCU Phase 4.
Uh-huh.
I believe it's Jonathan Majors.
Yes, that has he's in that series. Whatchamacallit? Not HP Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft Country, and I need
super
to
good.
see it.
It
I
is.
don't know what it's on.
It is on HBO Max. Or wait, yeah,
Is
HBO
it?
Max. HBO Max.
Sure?
Well,
Okay,
HBO and HBO Max. However you watch HBO, it's there.
Cool, and I need to get HBO Max now. 'Cause I keep hearing good things about that.
Yeah, it's a rad service, and they are not our subscribers, or they're not a sponsor. So I'm not
Give us money.
We're not saying that, but yes, they are. But it's a good service.
Dude, when you see what Last Week Tonight does, you see the type of money they have to spend on that show. Man, having HBO money, ooh, love.
Oh
to
yeah,
have
no,
that.
HBO. I mean, because they're part of Warner, and they have a strong umbrella of help to get going on production of stuff.
Right.
But yes, that the actor that you had mentioned, he is supposedly in there. He hasn't 100% commented on it. And Jonathan Majors, he in several interviews has declined to say anything about it, which always leads to
it's either
that's true, right?
It's either no, I'm not going to be in, or I can't say anything, which is like halfway yes. Like, we're in the talks right now. We're trying to do it.
He hasn't signed.
But the paperwork is there, and our lawyers are looking at it, and that's what that is. If they say no, then it's an outright okay. They're not going to do it. If they say like I can't say anything, I'm going to say a 72% chance yes on that one.
But yeah, basically what the story is that he has been approached to play this character, Kang the Conqueror, who is he's like a time-traveling supervillain in the Marvel comic books. He is actually... His real name is actually Nathaniel Reed. He's actually Reed Richards and Sue Storm's son, who, because of stuff happens in the future, he ends up going through time trying to fix things, but it also kind of... When you time travel and mess around with stuff, it kind of messes you up a little bit, and things you have to do that morally may be wrong to fix something, that stuff. But he is supposedly in talks for it, and I actually like the idea of Kang the Conqueror being a villain in the MCU, especially since it works out because they have on a couple of occasions, including Endgame, but before that with like Doctor Strange and everything, they've all dealt with multiverse stuff. And, definitely if there's going to deal with something in the multiverse, Kang the Conqueror is one of those dudes. He's one of those dudes. He can show up and, and if anything, you can have him come again.
Is he a dimension hopping villain? I thought he was a time traveling villain.
That's the same thing.
Okay.
At least that's how I view it. I'm like, oh yeah, you go through time.
I don't
And
know. Like,
technically
time travel and then dimension, like parallel universes. Like, I think that would be different. But,
in the MCU, it is not because they
not
travel back in time.
Right. You're right.
They travel through time, and then they created offshoots and all that other stuff.
Like that sort of thing works in DC. I never really see that in Marvel, but then you do see it in Marvel. It's like the Ultimates are a different line.
Yeah.
That's a different dimension, but like Kang the Conqueror is not traveling in between those, like screwing up shiz on Miles Morales' New York. So I mean, I don't know. Like Kang, Kang the Conqueror works for the MCU because of the time traveling, and there was a lot of time traveling in the MCU, like movies and whatnot. So he works. I'm not really thrilled about him being in there. For me, he's kind of like I hate to say it like this, but he's kind of like he's an up there villain in the Marvel universe, but nobody talks about him.
Like a B+?
Yeah, he is. I would say he's an A+ villain hitter, but like nobody talks about him. Not like people talk about Doctor Doom or Galactus.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see.
Yeah, but it's like Kang the Conqueror. Like he's a problem, and he can handle all of the Avengers, so it works. And the Avengers were doing a lot of time hopping in the movie, so it would work to see a villain use time hopping to screw with like the Avengers. So I'm like, all right, that makes sense. But it's like, I would really, for a villain, I was hoping for someone. I don't know, man.
I mean, I'm still waiting for Doom.
Yeah, I would.
Well,
I kind of want Doom,
see,
but I'm not disappointed at it.
See, the thing is with Kang, because the problem is with a character who can travel through time and space and whatnot, it is an issue where he's just so powerful. How do you stop him? Because, he could eventually just go back, look at what you did, and like, all right, I'm going to avoid that. There you go. Which is one of the reasons why I'm sure in comic books and whatnot, it's not easily talked about. Because, it's one of those, how do you defeat a guy who can always see what you're going to do?
Right, who's already seen it all, pretty much.
It's like, why? It's like, how come in the X-Men movies they never used Nimrod, who is a super sentinel who can just remember everything you just did and never can be defeated the same way twice? I'm like, because it can't be a compelling story. But what Kang does is it bridges the gap we need to get to Doctor Doom and to get to the Fantastic Four.
I hope so.
Because he's directly tied to both those characters.
What's cool about it too is that if you remember, I know this is one of the things that really popped Randy, was that when they announced that they were doing a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, a lot of people were like, who are they? And then now they've become one of the more popular teams in the MCU. I feel like they're going to also do the same for Kang the Conqueror, because for a general audience, I'm pretty sure they don't know who Kang the Conqueror is. For people like us who read comic books, who follow along, forever, we know who he is. We know what he's all about. But now that they've given it to the hands of MCU, they can do something to introduce him to everybody. And I'm excited about it. I want to see how they go about it. Again, I was aware of the Guardians of the Galaxy, didn't put a lot of effort into it. After that, I started looking for more stuff. Like, holy crap, what else have these guys gotten into? And I feel like that'll be the same for Kang the Conqueror.
Okay,
now,
I think you sold me there.
Right? Yeah.
I think you did. I don't know.
I mean, we'll have to see how it all plays out. Again, we haven't had 100% confirmed on the actor playing it.
We really haven't.
But at the same time, the way he's behaving, it's not like he didn't go, nope, not me. Like when people were talking about Allison Brie potentially being She-Hulk.
I was
She's
just
like,
gonna bring that up actually.
and she was like, I haven't gotten a call, but I'm for it. It's like, I don't know if I. He's like, she even jokes like, I don't know about those outfits, because she's a small-framed young woman, and I don't know if she's comfortable necessarily wearing the old school leotard tights that traditionally She-Hulk wears. But she's like, I could work out and do it. No, she's like, I got it.
And she worked out for
Wasn't her,
Glow.
but and she did work. Well, yeah, she worked out a lot for Glow and became a gym rat apparently because of that. But she very admittedly said, "Well, take that call." I'm like, well, at least she's honest about it. It was one thing, and it turned out being her.
Did you notice that too, Sean?
Yep.
Okay, I thought it might have been me.
Oh.
Randy, you still there?
Uh-oh.
Did you guys?
No, we're still here.
Yeah, we're here. Fine.
Yeah. Okay. What happened there? Did we okay? I was like, oh no, because like one of you was stopped. I was like, huh?
Yeah, it was you.
I was like, what?
I thought it was me because it happened once before, but nobody's playing PlayStation
I
right
guess
now.
it's my turn. Guess it's my turn.
Sure.
Welcome to the club, bud. We're trying to save money so that we can go to Amsterdam.
Cool.
You're not invited, Sean. You gotta go. You gotta have your own hiccup first, and then you can join the club.
Yeah, your system hasn't stopped. Well, he's had issues. He's actually had audio issues, so
Yeah.
I guess the audio issues count. You can come.
Sure. I don't want to go to Amsterdam, but all right.
Well, fine. Guess you don't want to have fun times in a foreign land.
Everyone, when you say in Amsterdam, you think, oh, weed, cool. But it's like, I don't smoke, so...
They don't do all that, and you don't have to smoke weed.
I guess...
Although, truth be told, I did think of that because I saw it on that 70s show.
Okay. So. Well, all right. There you go. I don't know what else to do in Amsterdam.
Do you want to go to Tijuana, Mexico instead?
Tijuana, Mexico.
No.
I don't know if that's a trip I want to do.
No, not at all. Like, at all, no. We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it off air.
I like it went from no to we'll talk.
I can be convinced.
But yeah, hopefully we'll get more news on this. I know like production for everything is halted or at least slowly ramping up. I know there's a lot of shows that are starting up again with their new protocols they have to do, but hopefully next year we'll find out more information as far as who's the new overarching villain that we get in MCU.
Speaking of that too, what did you guys think of the trailer for WandaVision?
That's confusing, but okay, it's a thing.
I think that was the whole point. Like that's what they're trying to project.
That's fine.
That's actually a good example of like what multiverse is.
Yeah, and she can do it, and it's pretty neat. But
I thought for it being on being a TV series, the production value was really good. I was like, wow.
Oh man, they got that Disney money, bro.
I know, you got that Disney money.
They do have the Disney money.
The part that got me was seeing the unaltered version of what Vision looks like. Which I saw that and I thought, yeah, Manuel, how's that work in real life? That very magenta and yellow.
You want to hear something? The first introduction I had of Vision was the all-white one.
Yeah. That's what I actually thought about that in the Avengers beat 'em up game. He's white.
That's exactly why. That was my
Vision.
first introduction to Vision. Was that Captain America and the Avengers video game?
And then when I read the comic books, I'm like,
who the hell is this guy?
I'm like, oh, he's not originally supposed to be that. But yeah, but no, the trailer for WandaVision, it looks solid, and I like that they're referencing old TV shows, and that they even got they even got the old costumes in. Although Wanda's actual costume not bad, but I feel like they're like, yeah. This is they definitely got like they didn't want to put too much into it because they wanted to look ridiculous.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of her father when he first put on the uniform in X-Men First Class. Like at the very end of it, how cheesy it looked. Like that's what came to mind when I first saw her costume. Like
it's like, oh yeah, when you see Magneto put it on, you're like, oh, with that not magnet symbol they put on there.
Right. Like did you go to the Salvation Army for that suit? Because that's what it really looks like right now. You're like, I need to find something. Just grab me anything from the rack, and we'll go with that.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, we'll see. I mean, hope. I mean, not that I haven't seen anything bad from Disney Plus as far as their TV shows go, even like the ones that are not the Star Wars or Marvel programming. But yeah, hopefully that all gets finished out, and then we get to see a trailer for Falcon and Winter Soldier soon, because I know that they were almost done with that when they were going.
Speaking of, did you guys see the latest Death Battle?
No, I've not checked it out.
Winter Soldier versus Red Hood, and it's a live action fight.
Mm-hmm.
Sean, wake up! You're falling asleep.
Nah, honestly, it's fine.
No, dude, you've closed your eyes like 5 times. I've counted 5 times where you've shut your eyes for more than 10 seconds.
For a minute, yeah. Like, okay, look.
And I know.
Live action, the fight.
Would you like to, Sean? Would you like to bow out for the rest of this so you can get some rest?
No, man, I'm fine.
I don't think so, sir.
No, I'm okay. I'm fine. All right.
What if I just put him in the waiting room now? I
Dude.
just kick him out to it.
Oh, again, Sean's sounding drunk to me. I know you don't drink, but you sound drunk to me. And the only reason
he has not a lot, and he's not.
And the reason why is because I've got a good friend of mine who sounds just like you when he's drunk. That's why I found this hilarious to me.
All right. Okay.
Oh man. I was actually really hoping that Alison Brie was going to be She-Hulk. I thought that was actually would have been a really good casting call right there, and I'm a little bummed that it's not going to happen. But you know what? Let's see what Tatiana can do. I'm also excited about that. If they chose her, they must see something in her that's just like she's it. So,
well, she's a good actress. Like if you're not if aren't familiar with her, she was Tatiana Maslany. She is the star of the series. Oh my God, why am I blanking on it right now? Am I been sleeping too long? No, I'm not sleeping enough. But Orphan Black, and where she plays like several versions of her character, and it's pretty rad. And I agree with you, Emmanuel, that it is kind of a bummer that Alison Brie couldn't be that part. But seeing who they did pick was good. I think it's a good choice, and hopefully how they do the effects and everything look good, because seeing an all green person on screen that's not all CG could be a little weird.
Okay, I know we're picking on Sean a lot about this, but he looks like a puppy that's trying to stay awake right now.
Same here, Tatiana Maslany.
Okay, that works.
And then there's the Godfather, but yeah. But yeah, she was in Orphan Black, and she played I think there's 30 versions of her character, and she played all 30. So hopefully it works out.
There's some acting chops being shown.
Yeah. And they're all different characters too. So, I mean, although I'm curious as to I'm excited because it's the Marvel attorney and superheroine. I'm like, are we gonna see her do 2 jobs? Part of me is wondering if she's gonna be the lawyer in doing her lawyering in a case, and then something happens, goes, hold on, and then comes back, goes off screen, knocks the dude out, comes back, goes, all right.
Your Honor, I'd like to request a recess.
It's hold
what
on.
For? That bank's being robbed, and I think I can do something about that.
It's yeah. I gotta punch an Ultron clone in the face. I'll be right back. Jumps out, comes back in.
All right, let's take a 15-minute recess.
There you go.
All right. You know what, guys? I hate to say it, but it looks like we've actually used up all of our time for this.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
For the Zoom.
No. We would have been kicked off. We would have gotten that whole warning. We went through this before, Sean. You remember? Remember?
Right. You have the control of that shit, so I don't. But whatever. So how would I know?
We would have gotten a notice on the screen.
Okay. I don't ever see those notices.
All right. Good times, guys. Sean, you need to go to sleep.
Probably.
So. It's not even a probably. This is like a 100% certainty of 2 days of lack of sleep.
There is a guy with a katana sword in Ghost of Tsushima waiting for me in a one-on-one duel.
Yeah, and he'll still be there after you wake up. So go to bed.
But it's gonna be cool.
Yes, it will, and it'll be even better if you're actually awake for it, because then you'll actually be able to participate.
And I can fight him here or there.
No,
or anywhere.
You're either too tired or too hammered right now.
No, I'm fine.
I'm gonna say both. So
let him do what he does. Let him do what he does.
Alcohol. So yeah.
I want our Arcadians to let us know, based off of what they can hear. Is he
Or see.
drunk? Is he drunk?
No, he's not drunk.
No, I'm saying they need to tell us what they think.
I've seen Sean drunk where he was laid out on the floor.
Yep.
Oh yeah, man.
I
Have I got stories?
I looked at it and went, "Oh man, you only had like half a glass of what I'm drinking, and I'm still standing."
Yeah, but you do.
yeah.
You know, you.
Randy, you're an Olympic drinking champion. You have a gold medal. You're a 5-time world champion. Don't give me that shit. Okay, you can drink.
I know. I'm fully aware of that, but it's like
you're drinking now, probably.
Actually, I'm not. No,
okay.
I have my coffee, and that's it.
All right,
guys. Great show. Even with Sean being like 3/4 asleep, good show regardless. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. For anybody who's listening in, thank you so much for following along with us. Remember, you can listen to us on any podcast location, so Spotify, Google Play, iTunes. Also, make sure you check out our YouTube page because we do put the Zoom versions of this up as well. So thank you very much for listening. The arcade is officially closed.